Hello, everybody. I got the next generation up here. I just thought I'd bring it up here to emphasize that this is, in fact, a family business and has been a family business for 100 years. I bring my children here so that they understand that we stand before you because we stand on the shoulders of our ancestors, and we stand on the shoulders of this great team and this great group of vendors, and what a wonderful group of customers. It is not by accident that we are here 100 years later. That doesn't happen by accident. It happens with great people. It happens when you have a purpose. It happens when you have a willingness to innovate across 100 years, across decades. And it happens if you have generational commitment, generational fortitude. I remember signing leases with my dad when I was this big, and he said, someday you're going to have to deal with that when the lease expires. And when I sign a contract, the last thing I think of is what they're going to get when the next one expires. Not many companies think that long, but we do, because our name is on the door. The Hayward team's name is on the door. There was a recession. We all remember that, right? When that recession was happening, it was the deepest, most painful thing we could see. It was worse on our company and our industry than the Great Depression, by the way. And I remember at the bottom of the Great Recession, looking at my team at a table, not knowing if we were going to make it. But the one thing I could say to them was, guys, this is what we do, and we will never give up, ever. So why? Why was that so important to us? Well, our family name was on the door, but because we care. Look at that logo. That logo is us helping a builder, or as Delphinia might say, her handing me lumber. It's dependence, it's caring. We are wired to care about our customers. We had to make it through the recession because we care. And we did, and we had purpose. So there it is. It's on our coat of arms, so you can build. That's what drives us every day. I remember my father very well. And when he first took over the company, it was in 1945, right after the war. In fact, his father and grandfather had just passed. There was no material, there were no nails, no supplies, but he had served in the war. He knew Army surplus folks. And he got in touch with a couple friends, and suddenly they said, oh, Homer, we've got some redwood and we've got nails. Now, that doesn't sound like a big deal, but in 1945, 6, there were no nails. Nobody could build. So Dad wrote his check on the spot because he was an entrepreneur. He took a chance, and he brought the nails back to the lumberyard. And the managers were pretty excited. This young guy might know something after all. And they opened the nails up, and they were square. And they laughed at my dad for a week until the phone calls started coming. And people said, oh, you got nails? I don't care whether they're square or round. I'll take them. We got to build. And suddenly, we got our price for them, and our builders, Hayward builders, were building again when other builders weren't, because we were there for them. It's kind of my favorite stories. My dad must have told that 100 times. For some of you vendors in the room, you still call us the H.T. Hayward Lumber Company. Your files, I've seen them, still say the H.T. Hayward Lumber Company. Well, that was 1919 to about 1930 when we opened Homer T. Hayward. Now, take a look at that. That's a Santa Cruz yard that we opened, and there was one in Atascadero and Watsonville. Look at the square on the upper right-hand corner. I'd call your attention to the square because that was the symbol of what Hayward stood for. If you did business with Hayward, you got a square deal. The customers got a square deal, employees got a square deal, the company was treated fairly, and the vendors were treated fairly. That was the foundation on which we stood. And we stood there for 100 years. As we fast forward with that fortitude, we were in Pacific Grove, and we'd moved our new location there, and the manager was invited, as he met the other branch managers, because there were 8 lumber yards in the Pacific Grove area, he was invited to have lunch with them. And they wanted to fill him in on how things were done here. Right? So they explained to him that we all decided who got which customer, and we fixed the prices, and nobody competed with each other. And that's how we do things in 1954 in Pacific Grove, California. But that's not how Haywards do things. So that manager got up, he left the table, and all of those other competitors are no longer in business because they didn't take care of their customers. They did the wrong thing where we did the right thing. And that's one of those stories I always remember. Several of those locations aren't here anymore. We have new locations, and as Mark pointed out, across 100 years, our innovations have led to 60% of our sales coming from new locations and new business segments. If we hadn't innovated, we wouldn't be here. Okay, along comes 1968. You know, in 1968, all the product that was in the stores were in drawers. They were in drawers. So if you came in to buy something, you said, gosh, I need some nails, and somebody opened that drawer. I need a hammer, open that drawer, screwdriver, open that drawer. My dad would tell this story. And he and the management team said, well, that's not going to work. There's all these homeowners that want to build that can't find anything. Why don't we put it on shelves? Well, that was a novel idea in 1968, and we opened the first 20,000 square foot home center in the country in 1968 in Salinas, California. And that changed the industry. We started to go from just builders to homeowners. And we had garden centers, and we had lawnmowers, and we had all kinds of stuff. And that was the wave of retail and builder, owner and builder. But along came the 90s and Home Depot and some other trends, and we got serious about builders. Home Depot was going to do their thing, and we were going to make sure we took care of our builders. So on time as promised, commitments. We have to honor our commitment to get the stuff on time. And the things started to take off. We got into manufacturing. We got into millwork. We built trusses. We got into green building and sustainability. In fact, we led our industry towards green building and sustainability. We are known for that at Hayward. And building became more complex. So we had to get aggressive, right? The Beaver was introduced with the homeowners, and then it came back for the builders, Hayward University, because building is more complex. So that was a complicated time. We loved it, but times change. And as a family business, you have to read the tea leaves. We kept growing, and now these are our locations across the state of California. As a lumber and building material company, we supply basically from Malibu to San Francisco. Okay, so the next wave seemed to be health and high-performance building materials. So we started to supply air ventilation systems and high-performance systems. And that actually took Hayward Lumber to Nevada, Utah, Arizona, and New Mexico. That's some exciting growth. And the next step was to take this concept and provide a toolbox to our builders to build new high-performance homes. We're moving to electrification. Title 24 is changing. We have net zero by 2020. Small Planet Supply, which is right here, we merged with Albert Rooks. We merged his group into ours for this group. And now they supply high-performance building materials. And we added more states, the northern states, Alaska, and Canada. So Hayward's now in Canada. Pretty exciting. And now the next step was health. And so we built Hayward Score. That's right over here. What is Hayward Score? Well, it answers one basic question that half of Americans are asking. Is my home impacting my health? So if you go online, and you answer 30 questions, it'll answer it for you. It'll give you a score, a number. It'll tell you how to fix it, and it's based on the climate. It's pretty cool. It's the health index for housing. So we've now scored 50,000 homes across America. So it's a national footprint in every state. And what did we learn with 50,000 homes across America? We learned something really important for our builders. We learned that half of Americans would like healthier homes. And that's a marketing opportunity because we're here so you can build. And now we bring the health highway. Hayward Score is the on-ramp to the health highway. It brings the owner back to the game and provides tools to build healthier homes. And there it is. And we've just changed the logo to match ours. Hayward Score so you can feel better. Because in fact, when people fix their homes, they feel better. And so for our builders, we announced today, the upgrade to a healthy home for new construction. This is the 12 elemental steps to take a code house and make it healthy, whether it's affordable, workforce, market rate, and it explains how the Title 24 calculations impacted. So it turns out when you add ventilation and air tightness, you can save as much money as the cost of adding those things so that you get health for free. This is a national document, and you're the first people to get it. So there we have it, the family of Hayward brands. Hayward, so you can build. Our ethos, our caring, what we care about, our builders, our industry. Hayward Score, so you can feel better, so America can feel better. And Small Planet, the toolbox to make healthy homes happen. So we have a full package for you. All right, that's our story for 100 years. This is us, 100 years. But that's only the first 100 years. What story will we tell in our 110th anniversary? What story will this room tell? I'll tell you the story I hope we tell. The story I want to tell is that the Hayward team transformed health in America by transforming housing. Hayward builders prospered because they were the first people to have access to the tools to make that happen. And America is feeling better. Now, I got to ask Delphinia to help me demonstrate something here. What does that mean? Delphinia came up with that. One morning I was leaving to go solve some problems around healthy housing, and she said, Daddy, come here. We did that thing. She says, Daddy, that means we're going to change the world. Go change the world. So join the Hayward family, you see here, the broader Hayward family, in helping us tell that story. We can't tell it without you, but we can tell it with you. And thank you for being here.